Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right. I am Don Palacio.
And I'm Marlene Cuellar. Thank you for joining us this morning.
It's a beautiful
Thursday
morning, Marlene. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, Belize. We're feeling good, and we're so glad that you are able to start your morning right with us on OYE.
That is right. Of course, getting closer to the end of the week. These short weeks, man, they just zip right by.
And zing, zing.
But there is a lot happening at this time.
Yeah, there is. It is, while it's a short week, it's so stocked with news. There are a lot of things going on, like you mentioned, and there are a few folks that of course, will be highlighting. And, of course, we look forward to what the end of the week is going to pan out like.
Well, we do know that the most pressing matter is looking at the ongoing negotiations with the unions and the government about the salary cut and increment freeze. It really does sound, we saw the Prime Minister's message yesterday, or last night I should say, and it really does sound like they have reached a point where I'm not sure what's going to happen. You know, the unions have met, the PSU at least met yesterday. They had separate meetings with their membership, and the early indications that we've gotten so far is that the membership has delivered a mandate to move forward with industrial action.
Yeah, it was all over social media yesterday. As a matter of fact, I think their first meeting yesterday was at 10 a.m. They did one at 12 midday, one at about 3, and then one at 7 o'clock yesterday evening. We're not sure as to what panned out at 7 o'clock yesterday evening, but I'm sure we'll be on top of that to let you know exactly what occurred or what came out of the PSU's meeting.
Well, yeah, last night's meeting at 7 p.m., the results of the poll that the PSU took said that 82% voted yes to serving notice on government of the existence of a trade dispute. 7 voted no, so 82% voted yes, 6% voted no, and 12% abstained from voting. So very clear mandate there as to what they are feeling.
Yeah, very clear. It definitely seemed that for the most part, everybody there seems together. But, you know, one takes time out to try and digest what will eventually become of such negotiations, or what should become of the outcome of these actions that will be taken eventually. Because it seems like it's like right there at the end of the tunnel with respect to how they will be dealing with it, not GOB. But we're up in the cloud at this time. And of course, Channel 5 will stay on top of this story to let you know exactly what the outcome is going to be.
It's interesting, though. I mean, this is such a divisive topic, because I think where people who are not working in the public service, people who aren't teachers or working with government, they have opinions based on their own personal experience. But of course, the unions have an experience based on their own historical context, and it really just feels like that it is difficult for a compromise to be struck. I do hope. I feel that the situation is getting a bit more agitated.
Yeah, it seems.
The messaging that's being used, the ad that aired last night. You know, we look at it and it seems, you know, for lack of a better word, like they're picking a fight.
It seems that way. You hear things from this corner and you hear things from that corner, and I feel while it is a democratic process in terms of speaking or saying how you feel, or taking the actions you feel is right for you, I think for the most part the country is up in arms, meaning that, you know, there are sides that you must be on. My thing though is that I think what we need to do as a people is listen to both sides to understand what the current situation is going to be or what it is. And then eventually, you speak of it if that's how you feel, or you make your move. Mar, it is, for me, it's tough. I find it to be
Well, we're not
something
the
very
ones
tough.
making decisions.
Yeah,
so
we're not, but-
it's not that we have to weigh in and say do this or do that. It's not an election.
No, it's not.
And the elections have passed. We have quite a few years to go before the other one. I think what it will be is a test to the decision making, especially for this administration that's so new to office.
Yeah.
Having been delivered a mandate, this is a tough situation to maneuver. We're in an economic crisis. There's no way of being able to move away from that. But the unions, as I said, they have their own historical context of having to consistently fight for what they feel is owed or due to them.
Due to them.
And so it's, I think as voters or as people of this country, what we do is pay attention to see how the decision is being made. The consultations were key, the ongoing negotiations are key, but now that they're at this point, what happens from here? And I know everyone is glued. It's like a daily episode of a soap opera. You want to see what's going to happen next. But it is, but I'm making light of it, but it is a critical situation because the alternative is if we don't start cutting down on expenses, then we keep on, and then I can say we, as the country, keep borrowing more.
Yeah, and if you make that cut, then so what do you do? I don't know. I really and truly, like, it's a very touchy situation there. And with respect to what I mentioned earlier, is the blunders that you've been seeing on social media. And I think a lot of people need to, sit back and understand what the current situation is from both sides before you go out there and just say this and then attack this one and attack that one. And at this point, we don't need that. This is for us to be together, And so that was what I was referring to earlier.
Yeah.
But it's a tough situation.
So that's where we are at this time, and of course we will keep you updated. Tomorrow there is the House meeting where the presentation of the budget. The first draft of the budget will be made. That's going to be, I think all eyes are going to see what's going to happen if the salary cuts are already budgeted for, and what happens between now and tomorrow as well. But we'll keep you updated in our newscast tonight at 6 p.m. So please, you can get that update there, and of course on our social media networks. All right, let's get moving into some motivation for this morning, which means it's time for Eye Opener. And our eye opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. When we take time to check in with our heart, each person we encounter can be seen as a fellow traveler in the journey of life. Every day we experience a magical twilight between our dreams and waking state. During this brief period of time, our minds still remember that all things are possible. We can smoothly transition into our physical world without losing a sense of hope when we check in with our heart center first, before we even get out of bed. Our heart center is the link between body and spirit, instinct and inspiration. It doesn't take long to hold a thought of love and gratitude for the heart that beats within us. In a mere moment, we can review all that we want to accomplish in the light of love. We can restart our day right now by imagining how love and inspiration feel. As light glows from our heart center, radiating out through our bodies into the space around us, any feelings of stress or frustration seem to melt away. As conscious participants in the cycle of giving and receiving, we share our light with others as we become enlivened ourselves, with our heart leading the way.
That's a cozy one. I like it. There's a spot in there though that reminds me of yesterday's eye opener. But when we take time out to check in with our heart, each person we encounter can be seen as a fellow traveler in the journey of life, and that is definitely the truth. I'll tell you what, it happens every day because everybody is actually traveling. So basically we're doing that together. But our heart center is the link that doesn't, the link between the body, spirit, instinct, and inspiration. Marlene, that's a big statement. That's a big sentence there. Because it is. When we wake in the morning, we always do an assessment of exactly how we feel and what the points are that we're going to deal with for today. And it makes us progressive, because then we need to think about those journeys. And that's the reason why I say that everybody travel along together, because everybody subconsciously or consciously will eventually do it. It happens as you wake. What is the day going to be like? And my accomplishments.
I love how it really, zeroes in on that moment when you wake up. And it's so true when you can still remember your dreams. Hopefully they weren't nightmares, right?
That's hard.
If they're nightmares, don't think about the possibilities of that. But there is that moment. And, it means to remember to do it at that moment, which is probably why you're saying it's hard. But just starting off the day in what is perhaps one of your calmest times, to just be able to be grateful, to be grateful for the silence that you hear in your house, the life that you have within your house, the fact that you are in a nice, warm, cozy bed. These are some of the things that we really do take for granted, and I think that's a great way to start your day, and the eye opener really puts it into perspective there. If you just make little changes to the start, it would be a really uplifting way to get your day started.
And you know what would complement that is if we instill what we've learned yesterday into how we'd like to carry out the day today. And for this reason, I say everything is a learning lesson, because what you've learned today, you definitely will be able to take advantage of that throughout today. Look, waking up is a gift, and I always tell folks that, man, once you get over yesterday, there's a strong possibility it's going to be better for you today. So, when we take that journey, let's take that journey together. It's a great eye-opener.
That's right. And keeping things moving this morning, let's get into our weather update for today. And the general situation is going to be mostly fair conditions to prevail.
Well, the 24-hour forecast is saying that it will be sunny with a few cloudy spells today and partly cloudy tonight. Only isolated shower activity is expected.
All right, the winds are moving from the east to the southeast at 5 to 15 knots, and the sea state is light chop.
Well, I'll tell you what, Marlene, the temperatures for today, it's going to be a cool 88 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast.
What is cool about that?
88 is cool. 93, though. It's hot. 93 degrees Fahrenheit inland. Oh, it's going to be a cool 77 degrees Fahrenheit up in the hills.
All right, and for tonight, it's going to be 79 along the coast, 72 inland, and 66 in the hills.
And for the extended forecast, it's saying here for Friday and Friday night, it is for continuing generally fair weather with only isolated showers and the chance of an isolated thunderstorm over the mountains in the afternoon.
All right, and we want to thank forecaster Michelle Smith-Augustin for that update.
That's right. Well, for today, we've got a packed show like we always do every morning for you from Monday through to Friday. We'll be kicking things off this morning with a look at the impact of COVID-19 on businesses and upcoming labor force labor force survey. That's the first segment.
All right, and the second part of the show, we're going to be joined by representatives of Galen University. They have 2 new online master classes, and they're actually talking about film production and advertising. Really interesting programs.
Very interesting indeed. And in the third segment for today, homemade authentic Italian cuisine made right here in Belize. Wow. Giordano's. So we'll be chit-chatting with the proprietor of Giordano's to find out how it's done right here at home in Belize. So we're about to take that break, but just before we do, as per usual, we've got our birthday shout-out. And for today, we want to say a big, big happy birthday to none other than Derek Borland. Happy birthday to you, D. Here's to wishing you all the very best coming from all of us here at Channel 5, all of us right here on Open Your Eyes, and of course from your entire family, Derek Borland, happy birthday. We're about to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be jumping directly into our show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
institutions, and the communities that surround us. Then by giving businesses the power to grow, entrepreneurs the ability to expand, and by giving our families the right to own something. The Belize Bank gives you the power to build a nation, our nation. We are stronger together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Es un hecho que puedes obtener servicios ilimitados con Smart. ¿Cansado de que se corte la línea cuando más necesitas estar conectado? Es un hecho que cuando te suscribes al plan de Smart Plus, obtienes llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Y también es un hecho que te puedes suscribir con un grupo de 5 miembros al plan Smart Share y hasta 40 miembros al plan Smart Enterprise para llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Smart tiene los verdaderos planes ilimitados. Es un hecho. Sé Smart y vive de forma Smart.
Why, Tony?
Boy, Keith, what you going on, man?
We actually can see we can need to buy a stack of them plastic plates and cups for my grocery shop because they run low.
Boy, I stopped importing that thing since April 15th, you know. And I just ran out to the last batch, must have been like 3 weeks back, you know.
Man, do I usually have anything? What is going on?
Check this, right? Under the new law, we ban all single-use plastics, so that the cups, plates, forks, spoons, and knives, all of that. Since April 15th, can't import none of them. Starting January 15, 2021, you can't manufacture them. April 15, 2021, you can't sell them. And after July 14, 2021, if you get catch with any other thing, you will get fined.
Me never know this. I guess I have to make some changes then. I have to make the customers know that anything not available. Anyways, bro. Thanks, man.
No problem, man. Take care.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind the scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
Find us
and follow us
today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Today's COVID update is brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
We are back, and we're moving into our first conversation for this morning, and we're joined by representatives of the Statistical Institute of Belize. And of course, they keep on collecting the data, and we look forward to sharing it and understanding it a bit more with the staff there. We have with us this morning Tanisha Chavarria, who is the Manager of Census Surveys and Administrative Statistics, Wendy Benavides, who is a statistician too in the same department, and Hefte Ochayete, who is a statistician 1 in the Economic Statistics Department. All right. So good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning,
everybody.
Good morning.
All right. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to understand a bit more about some of the latest numbers that you have released, and there's quite a bit. So we're going to try to dissect the ones that we can this morning. So I want to start off by finding out more about the Business Establishments Survey. Just a bit of your sample that was collected and some of the findings that you were able to collect.
Okay, good morning, Ms. Marlene and John. Yes, so I will be speaking about the business survey that we did in November, which was the impact of COVID-19 on business establishments.
Yeah.
So in November, we executed this survey, and we sampled approximately 2,500 establishments across the country and across the industries. This sample was generated from our statistical business register, which is basically a listing of formal establishments who are registered with the Social Security Board or with the Belize Tax Services.
Yes.
Thus, in the sample itself, we are excluding, because our universe excludes informal sector.
Yeah.
Right? The survey was done using computer-assisted web interviews, which is the first for SIV that we do.
Oh.
And also we were assisted by using some computer-assisted telephone interviewing. Utilizing both approaches, that gave us a response rate of approximately 50% of the respondents. Yeah.
Okay. So let me just backdrop a bit. This is a very unique survey. So we have talked a lot about the impact of COVID on the business sector. But what this does is quantify and give us some numbers based on a sample of businesses as to what the impacts were and how businesses responded. What prompted this particular survey? It was just curiosity? Were you asked to create this information?
Well, basically, the Statistical Institute of Belize wanted to provide some information that could be quantified to what is available for all the business establishments in the business register, more or less to have a perception of the actual population. Yes, there have been studies that were done, but it's limited, I guess. It's not targeting an entire population. And this is actually a sample survey, so the inference goes back to the population.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the things that you were able to determine through the survey.
Okay, so one of the key questions that we asked was the employment composition, right? We compared what was the employment composition as of November 2020 versus the employment composition of March 2020, when the COVID-19 restriction just had just initiated. When we looked at that, the comparison between the full-time and part-time staffing, in March, we identified that approximately 78% of the establishments only hired full-time workers, and the remaining hired both full-time and part-time workers. What happened in November? Well, we had a shift in the composition of the staff, where most of the establishments reported that about 88% reported that they only hired full-time workers, and the remaining hired only both full-time and part-time. So as you see, there was a shift, and what we conclude is that obviously due to the pandemic, most of the establishments had to do a restructuring of their staff, and the ones that suffered mostly were the part-time workers. Right? Yeah. So that was one of the key findings that we found. Also, something significant was to compare the level of change in the employment level.
Yes.
Right? When we did that analysis and compared what was the employment count reported to us by the establishments between November and March, there was a significant drop, about 35% throughout the country.
Yeah.
The districts that reported the highest drop in employment was Orange Rock with about 66%.
I found that interesting, Hefte. If we could just jump in there. 66% is the change in total number of employees by district from March 2020, pre-pandemic or start of the pandemic, to November 2020. Do we know whether that has to do with change of seasons for the crops, or were there high numbers of layoffs taking place in Orange Walk?
Well, that was what was reported to us by the establishments that did respond, right? As we mentioned initially, it's about 50% of response rate that we had. So maybe some of the establishments that should have been answering did not respond for Orange Rock, so that's why the numbers are.
And that was followed actually by Cayo with 48.4%. Tell us about that. Give us an overview.
Okay, so similarly in the Cayo district, they reported a decrease of employment level about 48%. And what we found interesting was that in Belize district and Sand Creek, which are heavily tourist destinations, they only dropped by about 27%. But also that's where the service sector is also concentrated. So that's what we expected.
So that's one of the things that I noted. You also have in just the overview that from the businesses that you surveyed, 11% closed temporarily their business, and 2% have remained permanently closed.
That's correct. As of November 2020.
As of November.
As of November 2020, 86% of the respondents in the population indicated that they are continuing their normal operations, and only 11% indicated that they had closed temporarily. That's correct. And only 2% indicated total shutoff.
And diving deeper into that 2%, Corozal saw the largest number of permanent closures up until November.
That's correct.
Yeah. What was second to that?
So second to that, we basically had it for the permanent closures. Basically, that was the highest.
Yeah, that was it.
Second to that would be just a marginal report in Stanford district of 0.2%.
Okay. Now, looking further into the reasons behind whether it was change, how COVID impacted business, the business operations, you looked at things like decrease in demand for products and services. Let's talk about those.
Yeah, so the business establishments were asked about the impact level that they have felt during the COVID-19, and about 61% indicated that they were highly impacted by the effects of COVID-19 regarding the demand that they received for their products and services, right? Similarly, when they reported the impact that COVID-19 had on the revenues, about 64% indicated that they had a high impact on the revenues that they and their income that they generated. Obviously, those two are very correlated. Another thing that was very interesting to see from the effects that we were asking was the difficulty to obtain the items from their suppliers for the production process.
Yeah.
About 38% indicated that they were highly impacted by the effects of COVID-19, you know, the restrictions of
yes,
going freely to the border and crossing the border to get their necessary materials was something that actually affected them. Yeah.
And it says, well, easier to obtain needed items for your supplies, 17.6%. That's interesting.
Yeah, so some of them had it felt that it was easier for them.
Wow.
So the predominant effect was the inability to have staff on site? Which one was it? No,
no. So all of them are independent, right?
Okay.
So each of the effects are independent, and so we analyze the effects independently from each other, right?
All right. And of course, Wendy and Tanisha, you guys can jump in anytime now. Let's continue to understand. And there's one here that says length of time establishment would be able to continue operating. Now, less than 1 week was actually 1.1%.
Yes. So when we asked the establishments as of November 2020, remember that in November we still had restrictions, right? We were still working under some restrictions.
Okay.
If the restrictions were to continue, that was the question that was being asked.
Okay.
For how long would your business establishment be able to continue its operations?
Okay.
So yes, some of the respondents actually responded that they could only survive about 1 week, right? With the restrictions.
With all the restrictions, but interestingly,
yeah, most of the establishment responded that they were able to survive more time.
And that's interesting because it's 38.3%, and this is because they don't know if the restrictions had to go on longer.
Exactly, that's correct.
Okay. Then there's a 27% that says, well, we just don't know.
Exactly, that's correct.
So let's...
Another thing that we actually asked was the impact on the revenue level, right? The change in the revenue level. Basically, across all industries, almost everybody reported a loss in the revenue when compared to March of 2020. The ones that stood out was the accommodation and food services industry, which reported the highest loss in revenue level compared to March of 2020. And following that was the transportation and storage industries, which both of them are correlated, right?
Yeah.
So those were two ones that actually indicated the most that they had the most loss. Like almost all the establishments in those industries reported that they had a loss.
So let's talk about the cost-saving measures that were implemented, because this is where, I think a lot of people we've been talking about people who lost their jobs, people who are earning less. Tell us what the data shows.
Yes, so before we go to that, I think we would want to look at the adoptions that were implemented by the establishments, right? Some of the establishments, about 18%, indicated that they were able to change the way they produce their products or their services. And about 25% indicated that they had new ways to interact with their customers or to sell to them. So those were some of the key important things that the businesses did to adapt to the situation of the COVID-19. Now, when we look at the actual implementations of cost-saving measures,
one thing
right?
before that, though, because I do think it's worth noting, where there had been a lot of conversations about working from home, based on your data, based on this survey, there were actually only 1.9% of businesses that transitioned to work from home.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was, remember that is as of November 2020.
As of November.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
really, that was interesting.
So
to
that's
see.
one of the reasons probably.
Yeah.
Now the effects that the business establishments did to implement cost-saving measures, well, most of them, well, about 19.8%, sorry, reduced the staff hours or the shifts.
Yeah.
And 17.7% actually laid off staff.
Yeah.
Just some 15% introduced temporary cost-saving measures.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's look at this in perspective, because I think that this is where, you know, when you talk about the number one way that people started to save money was by laying off staff, 17.7%. And the reducing staff hours and shifts is also cutting down on number of hours that people work, which also results into the same thing as changing wages, right?
Well, if you look at it like that, yes, but it depends, right? So it depends on the perception of the person who is working.
Okay.
Yeah. So some people, so we had 17.7% of the businesses who participated saying they laid off staff to cut down on cost. Almost 20% cut down their hours, workers' hours. And then following that, they introduced temporary cost-saving measures, and reducing staff wages was at 7%. Freezing staff wages was at 1.3%. Yeah.
But if you look at it, most, well, 27.6% reported that they didn't implement anything.
Any changes.
That they continue to operate as normal.
Okay. Then there's also a 0.4% increased salaries, wages, or other compensation. Interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah. Do you know what type of businesses those were?
I don't have the information right away, but I definitely would have.
Yeah.
We can definitely have that.
That's definitely a standout feature.
But more so, 0.6% hired more staff.
Yes, that's correct. We noted, that one I do remember, we noted that the administrative and support services industry actually, when we compare the level of employment between November and March, they had a significant increase. And we believe that is due to the BPOs.
Yeah, yeah, that does make sense. So Hector, how do we put this into perspective? The data that's presented here. One of the clear things is that it's a sample. Two, that it was as of November of last year.
Yeah, so the survey actually gives us an understanding of the socioeconomic impacts that the COVID-19 actually had on the business establishments, right? And yes, the business establishments have been suffering all throughout 2020. So the survey actually gives us the information to understand some of the things that have caused the suffering businesses to experience, and also some of the adaptations that were done by the business establishments to cope with the situation.
Yeah.
I think those are the key factors that were observed from the survey.
Okay, and with respect to how we're doing, where do we fall within the region with how we were doing between that particular time, March 2020 to November 2020?
We would have to do that comparison. We actually haven't done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Right. So that is the snapshot of what, as of November, some businesses, how COVID-19 impacted them. So let's move on to the labor force survey. One of the things that we are looking forward to, and I know you're about to start the process of collecting this data again. And I'd love to get Wendy or Tanisha into the conversation at this point to talk about what people can expect.
Hi, yes, good morning. Thank you for having us. We are here to share that we are going into the first round of the year of the labor force survey.
Yeah.
And for the survey, we are collecting information to be able to estimate a very key labor force statistics, such as the unemployment rate, the labor force participation rate, and the size and the structure of the labor force. In addition to this, we want to continue to measure the impacts of COVID-19 on the labor market. And in this round, we are also looking to estimate the levels of food insecurity in the country. And then we also have two modules that we included at the request of the Central Bank of Belize, which is the financial inclusion module, and that as a series of questions that will guide them on their roadmap to total financial inclusion of the Belizean population. In addition to that, we also have a few questions about e-governance to assist the e-governance task force in their roadmap to providing e-governance services.
So that's interesting. These are going to be some new information that we'll be able to dissect when you have completed the survey. Now, how are you planning to collect the data?
We are going to be collecting the data on 3,000 households countrywide, and we have two modes of data collection actually. We want to continue to reduce the amount of face-to-face interviewing on the sample, and so we have contact information for 70% of our sample, and we obtained these numbers when we went out to do a listing exercise. We are still out in the field wrapping up that listing exercise so that that frame can serve us for the rest of the year, so that we can continue collecting data on the telephone using that frame. So we have information for 70% of the sample that they provided to us, and we will be calling them first. And then in households that don't have access to telephone, we will be heading out into the field to do the face-to-face interviewing, of course, following the social distancing protocol. And because we still see the importance of collecting that data.
Okay.
And when is this survey expected to get started?
Okay. The survey has started this past Sunday, and it will extend from the 4th of April to the 1st of May. So we will be collecting data for that 1 month period. And then you can expect to see the results during our press conference and the press release on June 30th.
Clearly, you mentioned started on Sunday, April 4th. So this is 7 days a week.
Yes, our data collectors collect information for 6 days during the week. They have 1 day off, and it's usually during the week. And the reason that they do this is because during the weekends, that's when most people would be available to answer the phone calls. They would have time, or in the evenings, that's when they're home, that's when they're free to answer us.
So help me understand, how do you ask questions about food insecurity? What type of tools are you using to measure that?
Okay, for the food insecurity, we actually incorporated a framework that is used by the Food and Agriculture Organization. So there are 8 core questions that are used worldwide, and it's a reliable and acceptable way of measuring food insecurity. So we present 8 core questions, and then the household would respond to us detailing if they are experiencing this food insecurity due to a lack of resources, due to a lack of food. And then we would ask them how often in the past 12 months have they been experiencing this specific food insecurity, and how often they have been during the past 4 weeks. And then we follow up with a question to see if this was due to COVID-19. And then we also will be analyzing these 8 core questions and supplementing questions with the support of the Food and Agriculture Organization and the CARICOM.
Okay.
They are assisting us with providing a consultant to analyze these 8 questions and to get, we will have the information at the national level and at the district level.
Have we polled on food insecurity before, or this would be the first?
We had the 8 core questions in the 2010 census. What's different with this round of the LFS is that we want to measure how the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the food insecurity levels in Belize. So that's the difference that we have. That's a new feature that we have in this round of the labor force survey.
And that's critical, because if your last measure was 2010, there would have been a baseline pre-COVID, and then clearly impacts after COVID as well.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is actually, the benchmark that we want to provide, and we are one of the first in the region, in the Caribbean region, to be implementing these 8 core questions in the context of COVID-19. And, based on our findings and our experiences with implementing this framework provided by the FAO, all other Caribbean countries will be using the lessons that we learned here in Belize, looking at our methodology, and they will be, implementing that in the rest of the Caribbean as well.
Okay. And Wendy is still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, Wendy, as a statistician too, what is it like carrying out this work and the response from the public?
So we're very glad that we have transitioned over with telephone interviews now.
Yeah.
And we have had very good cooperation from the public. But others have not already gotten accustomed to telephone interviewing.
Okay.
So we're trying to get word out that we are still the same institute. We're trying to publicize that it is still the same trained interviewers that are representing the SIB. But just due to the pandemic, we're conducting telephone interviews now wherever it is possible.
We've established already that it's in the evening time for the most part that these questions are being asked. But what is the timeline for the 8 core questions? Like, how long do you take to do 8 core questions?
Okay, so it seems that we're losing that
audio
connection there for a moment. Let me just squeeze in some additional issues, some other points before we lose time. The recent consumer price index, I think it tells us what we all already knew, which is that prices are up, food prices especially.
Yes.
Who wants to take on that one?
We will pass that on to the economic statistician.
Yeah, Hefte, are you still there?
Yes, sorry, right now.
Yeah, I can tell you have a junior statistician there that wants to join in the conversation. Yes, you can put him to sit with you,
The results of the Consumer Price Index for February 2021 indicated that there is an increase of approximately
1.3%.
Okay.
Compared to February 2020 in the prices.
Yeah.
Mainly what affected the prices was food and non-alcoholic beverages, which actually increased by 5.6%. Following that was the effects of personal care, social protection, and miscellaneous goods and services, which increased by 1.8%. Recreation, sports, and culture actually also impacted the prices, increasing by 1.4%. And the housing, water, and electricity, gas, and other fuels also increased by 0.8%. What I can point out is that in the food, non-alcoholic, and beverages, the prices in fruits and vegetables are the ones that are triggering the upward trend. And in the housing, water, and electricity, gas, and other fuels, this was actually triggered by the increase in the butane prices and a slight increase in home rental costs, right? And in the personal care, social protection, and miscellaneous goods and services, it was actually personal hygiene products that the prices increased for. So those were the ones that actually were affecting the prices. Yes, there have been some categories that actually decreased. For example, like the transportation category, it decreased by 0.3% compared to February of last year. As the fuel prices were much higher at that point in February, but that doesn't mean that fuel is not going up, right? When we compare the fuel price, against the previous month, we see an upward trend.
Wow.
So we expect that sometime in the future, the transportation index will also have an inflation.
And the highest inflation was in San Pedro, based on municipalities.
Wow.
Yes, so the highest inflation registered is in San Pedro town. But we just highlight that separately because we're just making an inference for the inflations of for the CPI index for San Pedro, Independence, and Benqueviejo del Carmen for 2020, as we only introduced them in October of 2020.
Okay.
Sure, go ahead.
So the actual comparison that we can actually make is with the other municipalities, and Punta Gorda town was the one that had the highest inflation rate with about 2.4%.
Wow, the numbers are they're very staggering numbers indeed. But information very vital. Tell us about imports and exports within that particular time.
Okay, so the imports decreased by 7.1% for the month of February, and exports actually went up by 58.2% in the month of February. What we have been seeing in the importation of merchandise goods is that specific categories have been declining. For instance, the machinery and transportation equipment and goods being sent to the commercial free zones, those have been decreasing. Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah. We can hear you clearly.
Yes. The other thing that we have identified, for instance, in the commercial free zone, is that there was a drop of about 30% in the imports of goods, mainly because the activity in the commercial free zones is limited, I guess. So they have been importing less handbags and fans and clothing during the month of February. But some categories actually increased. For instance, in food and live animals, that reported an increase in the importation of goods and services. Of goods, sorry, that increased about 2.1. Rose from $17.5 to $21.1 million when we do the comparison. And that was mainly because of more wheat being imported to the country. When we look at the actual exportation of goods, we see that February actually had a higher
level of export compared to February of last year.
Yeah.
And this was mainly due to the sugar exports.
Yeah.
As in last year, we only exported about $0.2 million worth of sugar. And this year we exported $14 million worth of sugar. This is mostly due to timing of the logistics of the companies. So that was the only one of the major categories, right, that affected I guess the main category that actually affected the exports.
Definitely skewed it, because we look at other major industries like citrus and banana and even marine taking a decline there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. These are really interesting numbers. So, you know, we're out of time at this time, but I appreciate you breaking down the data to help us understand several things, where we are with the consumer price index, imports and exports, and most importantly, what you found out in your survey of how COVID-19 impacted businesses. Ladies, we appreciate you giving us the information about the ongoing labor force survey that's taking place at this time. So you may get a phone call, you may be asked to participate. Of course, we know you always tell us that this is confidential information and really critical to help us understand what is happening in the country. Thank you all for joining us, and of course, continue to stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we're about to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be chit-chatting to reps of Galen University on the launch of 2 new classes. We'll tell you what those are when we come back. Stay with us.
This COVID update was brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service. Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor, and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Hello? Okay, sure, I'll be there.
Hi, Mommy. When are you coming home? I really miss you.
Hearing the voice of our loved ones can always lift our spirits and make us feel whole again. With Smart's twice as nice promotion, prepaid customers who make 5 minutes worth of national calls on Sundays can enjoy 50% off. Top double on all national calls for the rest of the day. Call your loved ones and enjoy half off all day long. Smart, bringing people together.
Research on the impact of COVID-19 infection on pregnant women is limited. Right now, pregnant women are at higher risk of severe illness than the general population. Pregnancy can affect the way a woman's body handles respiratory infections. If you are pregnant, protect yourself against COVID-19. Wash hands frequently using soap and water for at least 40 seconds. Use alcohol-based hand sanitizer if soap and water are not available. Cover cough or sneeze with tissue and throw used tissue in a bin. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces such as doorknobs, counters, phones, and tablets. Practice physical distancing. Work from home if possible. Avoid contact with anyone who has fever, cough, and cold, or flu-like symptoms. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth without first washing your hands with soap and water. If you have fever, cough, and feel extra tired, call 0800 MOH-CARE. Help keep Belize safe.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind the scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
Rise, welcome back. We're now moving into our second segment for the morning, and this one surrounds Galen University and the launch of 2 new classes. Now in to tell us all about these classes, we've got Vince Engel, who is a freelance content creator and also a designer. We have Nigel Miguel, who is a film commissioner, the film commissioner of Belize, and also Deanna Gomez, marketing director for Galen University. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Glad to be here.
Oh, definitely nice to have you guys in, and we've been chit-chatting about this for some time now, in terms of these 2 new classes from Galen University, and it's very important, especially with respect to what they are. So, Deanna, let's tell us, what is Galen doing this time around again?
Oh, yes. Thank you and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure always to be on OYE and definitely in this capacity to talk about Galen and what we're doing. Galen is always looking for new ways to serve our community and to be relevant. And this time we're actually really pleased to be able to offer these 2 master classes. These really are precursors to the launching of our film and media school, which is coming in the next fiscal year. So we're our academic year. So we're really happy. So we're offering 2 master classes. They actually the first one starts in April, and we have Vince on. Morning, Vince.
Morning.
And Vince is going to be the master instructor for the first World of Advertising, which is the first class that's up. And these are classes that we encourage our media or corporate offices to send their in-house media persons and advertising persons, their marketing people to come and take. These are going to be wonderful classes. They're going to be promising. We know Channel 5 has taken up the opportunity, so we look forward to you participating. But Galen is truly happy to be involved in this particular initiative, along with the Belize Film Commission and Mr. Nigel Miguel.
Yeah. And I think this is a great collaboration, especially from the Film Commission perspective, working along with the university. Professional development in this particular field is one that is very difficult to be able to access locally. Nigel, tell us about being able to collaborate with the people in the industry union and getting the program tied down with Galen.
Well, let me say thank you so much for having us on here and allowing us to talk about it. And this has been a dream of mine for a long time. And what we've been able to do is to leverage relationships that allow us to tap into the media world abroad and come here and share it with our students, with our young professionals, and just people in the creative industry here that are looking to expand and create better content.
Yeah.
So the class, yours would be film production, and when is it expected to start?
Well, let me clarify that. I'm sort of overseeing the partnership.
Clarity is good.
We're actually going to have another industry professional, just like Mr. Engel, come on and teach that course, which starts in June.
Okay.
The course that Vince is doing starts April 17th.
That's right.
I think so.
Yes, April 17th.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and Nigel, just in being able to recruit people like Vince and the other instructors that you do want to have hosting master classes, how tough was that sell for this?
Well, in the case of Mr. Engel, he's someone that I've known over the past 30 years. What this allows me to do, having this entity or this platform set up, it allows me to share my Rolodex with the people that I feel most closest to, which are the folks from Belize, the people of Belize. Now, I say that to show that that's the jump off, that's the starting point.
Yeah.
But what we hope to create and develop with this relationship with Galen is that Belize is producing great filmmakers, great media, great content providers, but then we also want to share our expertise after we get it with the world.
Yeah.
And that's hopefully what we will develop with the Film and Media School on the Galen campus.
And you know, you're so right, because especially during this pandemic, we've seen a lot of stuff coming out of Belize, because there are a lot of people with time on their hands, and they'd like to know more about their equipment. They're going out there, they're doing their thing. Now, but at the same time, you might have some folks who are skeptical, Nigel. They'll say, you know what, I would like to learn, but at the same time, I'm not sure as to how I could not necessarily impact the industry, but how I could tap into the industry. Tell us, why is it important, filming, especially here in Belize?
Well, part of the thing is that it's our task to create those opportunities. And that is what we're doing now. We are starting to see the benefits of it's been a long process, but that foundation is set, and we're starting to see the benefits. Now, the fact that these productions will be coming in and that are coming in, we want them to hire local as much as possible. That's one of the mandates that the Office of the Film Commission has. If we're just creating an industry and nobody locally is actually benefiting from it, from the standpoint of being able to say, you know what, I have a real career in this industry. This is what I do. I don't have anything else. This is what I do. And that's sort of I would like to say, my legacy that I am trying to create, that we will have an industry that people can look back on and say, yes, it was here. This is where it started. We've seen the growing pains. We've seen where it is now, and we're looking in the future to where it will be. And with a relationship like people with Vince Engel coming here to share his expertise with us, and these two classes will benefit more than just the average or the person that desires to be a filmmaker. Like Melanie was saying, all those other industries and entities can benefit as well, because what he has to share is an amazing amount of information.
Well, Vince, you can't get a better introduction than that,
right? Red carpet.
A little pressure.
So here you are essentially the season premiere of this film media production unit at Galen. And we have to say that your particular course that you'll be the instructor for is the world of advertising. Now, let me start off by asking, how much have you researched as to what's currently being offered in Belize?
Well, a lot of it has come from, in speaking with not only the university, but with Nigel especially, who, as he said, we've known each other for probably the last 30 years. And I've done online research. I have not been to Belize, unfortunately. It's something I'm looking forward to once this crazy pandemic is settled down. But it's everywhere people advertise. And so what this course is going to do, and there's always a need for advertising if you really want to stand out in this world of advertising and film production, is we want to introduce prospective students to, basically how agencies work, what are the different roles and responsibilities within an agency, and what makes good advertising, and how you can create good ads, and then really for everyone, the power of a brand and how to build a very powerful brand. And by brand, I mean, what does your product or your company stand for? And I always like to use the example of Nike makes athletic apparel and shoes, but they really stand for what they're selling is empowerment and the idea of just do it. And then we go into the future. What's next in advertising? Where is it going? It's become much more international, and we'll have a number of industry luminaries, you know, who will be lined up to be guest speakers during the course of both the advertising and the film production side.
Now, we know that there are a lot of people who work in video production, create ads. We don't have so much advertising agencies, but individual production companies. And it's been very autodidactic, you know. People have learned to be able to develop the skills and have been going off instinct. How do you hope to be able to take what already exists and really elevate it to another level?
Well, I think it's showing people what's possible. Not necessarily what they've done or what they're used to, but what is possible, how to make things better, how to improve things, how to stand out, and how to look beyond just, you know, Belize or Belize City or places like that, and look for a larger market and, you know, look for a more international market in your work and your advertising.
Can I say one thing, Melanie?
Yes.
Before you go, the thing is that the mindset that we're creating here, let's say within the film and media industry, it's grassroots right now, but it's content created in Belize, but for the world. I want everybody to know that there's greatness here in Belize, and this is one of the ways that we are showing it. So the idea is to offer the best content. Yes, it's created here, but it's made for the world. And that's one of the things that I would like to see us start to preach, regardless of what part of the industry or whatever industry it is. It's because Belize has the capacity to provide great content beyond our borders, and that's with everything that we do. So if we start our students getting to that point of where that mindset is there, it's about being great, and it's about Belize being great. So that's a step. And when Vince talks about branding, and he's being somewhat modest, and I don't know if you know his pedigree or his history. But
I noticed he spoke of Nike like he had no involvement. So modest. Or ESPN or American Express.
Didn't have anything to do with it, but yes, some of those say the professors or the teachers that we will be having in these Galen courses will be second to none. Will be second to none. It will be something that you will look back, or the people will look back on this years to come and say, you know, what an opportunity, what a great thing Galen is offering their students. And that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that the Belize public takes advantage of it. But eventually, we will want the region. We will want them to know that Belize is the place where you come to for media and film training. That's what we're establishing here.
Nigel and Vince, I'll tell you what, we've noticed that there are a lot of ideas indeed from Belizeans, but I think these courses will eventually give us the idea of how to put them together more creatively and in a better way. Speaking of the courses, what's the duration per course?
It's going to be 6 weeks with 2 classes per week. And like I said, it starts on the 17th of April, runs through the 22nd of May. And back to that point you made earlier in the question, the industry worldwide is always looking for new ideas and new approaches, new ways of thinking. And that's something that Belize will definitely be able to offer. And not just, you know, culturally, but and geographically, but just different ways of approaching and solving problems that people have, that ability, and that's what we're hoping to be able to export to the rest of the world from Belize.
Yeah. Wow.
I would also say one thing: telling our stories on a global stage is going to be a beautiful thing. And trust me, guys, it's coming. Sometime next month, there's going to be a group coming in to do a series of commercials that Vince and I, well, I'm producing, but Vince actually wrote the script for. And it's going to highlight Belize and Belizeans, but in this great product. You probably see some snippets of it on social media right now with Marcus Johnson. And I have a little cameo in it, but that's just the beginning. Next month, we'll have a sizable production here, and it will be all about Belize and this product and how they see Belize and the agricultural aspect, because what I want them to do is start to grow that product, the stuff that they put in there. I want them to grow it here in Belize. And so those tests are happening right now, and if it comes back with a thumbs up, all of that will be incorporated into this advertising campaign, and it will put Belize in such a great light on the global scale. I think everybody will be proud of it.
Wow.
Well, yeah, definitely. And you know what? You'll have more people who have been trained by Vince who can be able to assist in that production as well.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully so.
Yeah.
You know, we want our current Belizean industry professionals to really benefit from it.
Yeah.
We're doing it on a small scale, but I always tell folks, watch us, and you can be critical of us, but when we make these big strides, I want you there patting us on the back as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Vince, let me ask a question. So you've never been to Belize, and other than the fact that your good friend Nigel may have coaxed you into this position, what excites you about being able to have this course with fresh new faces from Belize?
Well, exactly, the fresh new faces and the way they think and the way they solve problems and how they view advertising in general, and then what those possibilities are. We have a project that Nigel and I, it's a bit of a dream project that we want to make happen, and that is to create an agency in Belize that's made up of the students, the best students that will be hand selected to do work for various charities, pro bono work, small businesses in Belize to export to the rest of the country and the world in Central America. It's great in that there were years ago, the advertising industry, everyone wanted to film in the Czech Republic because it was cheap. Then they went to South Africa. Then they went to Brazil and Costa Rica. And now there's no reason why Belize can't be the next film center. When you're looking for diversity, you're looking for, obviously beautiful weather, great locations, everything is there. And we hope to develop and make sure that the talent is there to add to it.
Wow.
Whether it's on the creative side or the film production side.
Yeah, it has been a dream of a lot of people in this country to try and make it in the big time, whether being it filming or commercials. It has been. But guys, this is definitely one of those I'm listening to and say, sign me up. What can we do? How can we sign up?
Is there space?
Yeah, is there any space? What can we do?
There's definitely space, and we want to invite everyone to join. Anybody can join this. Once you are interested in film, advertising, if you're just out of high school, if you're in sixth form, if you're already in the workplace, please know that you can take this class once it is an area that you're interested in and you're working in as well. Or if it's something new for you. We're in a time where we're reskilling, retooling. This is a perfect professional development opportunity for people who are interested in this area or who want to do something new. So you can send us an email at admissions@galen.edu.bz. There it is. Or you can call 615-3129. It's not too late. We're still accepting applicants. The course is quite affordable. It's $500 per course. There are two of them. Notice there's the World of Advertising followed by Film Production.
Yeah.
As Vince and Nigel explained, this is going to be a top notch.
Yeah.
We encourage you to not lose out on this opportunity and come join us. This really is just the beginning of something great. Yeah. And Galen is certainly happy to be part of this process and to bring, along with the Belize Film Commission and our partners, Vince and the other master instructors, bring to Belize this opportunity.
Yeah. So the introductory classes, they include the world of advertising, as Vince mentioned what he's going to do, but there's also the film production side of it. Nigel, do you want to tell us a bit about the class? It's going to be by Dennis Miner.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Dennis is a production partner with us as well. I've met Dennis through Vince, but we will be teaching what I like to call the ABCs of film production. And that will take you through, like you said, a 6-week period. But at the end of that class, we will have some practical actions to go with it. I am hoping that if we can coordinate it properly, we will actually have a production that these gentlemen, people in the class, can actually come on set and work. So there'll be a little financial gain from that. And then even with the timing, with Vince's class, we're going to invite the students to come and watch the production that will be here in May. Again, both classes are top shelf information. And this is just the first step in a larger thing. This is the first building block to us seeing the Film and Media School take place at Galen. Again, it's been in planning for a long time, and it's been in my heart and in my mind for a long time. And I thank Galen for somewhat approaching me to establish something, and then as we work through it with Provost Aird and Dr. Cattouse, things just started to fall in place. And there are a couple other things, but I don't want to talk too much about what is coming as opposed to what's happening right now. And this is real.
Yeah. And so starting this month, Vince is going to be working with a group of Belizeans talking about advertising. And then the next class is going to be Dennis talking about film production. The details, once again, Deanna, you said that people can register. It's $500 a class, and it's being done. You know, I guess if there is a silver lining or a silver thread to the COVID-19 pandemic, it's that we have all embraced doing things online. And even for those who weren't comfortable teaching or learning from online, it's the way we're moving.
It is.
And so they
Yeah, the thing is, Vince is coming to us from Spain.
Yeah. Oh. If only your Spanish was better. Yours might be better right now.
Yes, and so this has been one of the strong points for Galen, that even during the pandemic, we have been able to just continue on course because one of our strengths is online and virtual teaching and learning. And so we're really happy that this fits right in to what we're doing. This particular course will be done via Zoom. We do have our platform that we work off, the Blackboard collaborate with Moodle, but we were able for this particular course to use Zoom at the request of the film commissioner and the instructors, and we're fine with that. So it's going to be on Saturdays. So for people who are working during the week, hopefully you can free up on Saturday mornings, we're hoping. Particularly, it's a 3-hour session each Saturday for 6 weeks.
Okay.
So.
All right.
So Vince, that final advertising pitch, right?
Yes.
So here we go. People watching and saying, I really think I should. Will I be able to find the money? Will I fit in the class? Maybe I don't know enough. What do you say to them this morning?
Well, I know from personal experience, and most of the people I've worked with, the advertising industry is made up of people who kind of stumbled into the industry and didn't necessarily go to school to learn. They later found out they loved it and took classes to improve their skills. But for the most part, it's frustrated artists, people who thought, like me, who thought they were going to make a living as an artist and decided I didn't want to starve, and or writers who have a novel in them somewhere that haven't gotten around to writing it, and people who are just interested in film and talking to people, and then people who are interested in the business side of advertising and the thinking that goes into it, not just the creating of and the executing of the ideas, but all the other opportunities that exist within the industry.
All right. Well, now we know, guys. This definitely seemed like a dream come true, especially for you, Nigel. And of course, I couldn't put together the thought in terms of how you feel at this particular point. So, Nigel, final words are yours.
I am overwhelmed because, like you said, this is something that I've talked to you about. This, I've talked to anybody actually that would really listen to me. So, again, I appreciate greatly the opportunity that Galen University is allowing. I mean, they're an institution of higher learning, so this is what they do. But allowing me to bring this platform to them, I think I have so much to offer when it comes to relationships. And what good does it do me if it only benefits me? That's one of the things that I look at myself in this capacity, and all people in public service, that you are a servant, and if you take that seriously, you're to better people's lives. Now, people do it differently because they serve in different capacities, but I get the most joy out of seeing somebody actually accomplish that little dream that they have, and they actually step out there and plant the seed in the ground, and then we start to water it. I always tell my wife, I said, sweetie, I know what it's like to actually get a paycheck for your art or for your creativity. I love seeing Belizeans when they get paid from a production and they get that check or that, the salary or the cash. It brings me great joy. And, you can only experience that. Me telling somebody that isn't the same as when that person actually experiences that. And this is another step in that process. I want to say one thing, that even though I believe that this course is extremely affordable for the amount of knowledge that you will be getting, we are offering 2 scholarships through my Film Belize component. But it's for kids. I want to emphasize that we're looking to give that opportunity to someone that couldn't afford it, maybe doesn't have a job, or the family. So 2 places are being held open for that.
All right.
That's
so
fantastic.
just an FYI.
Yeah.
And they can actually reach out to Galen through that, and that we will decide. But that's something that I've talked to my guys and stuff. And again, it's important that those that are creative but might not have the financial backing to get it, they get that opportunity. And again, I would like it to be a young person, just because you're feeding into a vessel that has so much area to grow.
Definitely.
All right.
All right.
Well, it does sound like a very exciting time, and we do hope that people take advantage of the opportunity. Thank you so much for telling us about this latest project, and we wish you the best of luck. Vince, we hope you make it to Belize soon, and we'll invite you here on set.
So do I.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Thank you.
And do have a wonderful day. And we're about to take a break. When we come back, we'll be chit-chatting about homemade, authentic Italian cuisines made right here.
I heard pasta.
You heard pasta?
All right.
Italian?
Ready. Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we come back.
beer of Belize.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
If we are only as strong as our families, businesses, institutions, and the communities that surround us, then by giving businesses the power to grow, entrepreneurs the ability to expand, and by giving our families the right to own something, the Belize Bank gives you the power to build a nation, our nation. We are stronger together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind-the-scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Been drinking all night. Feeling so high. Better not drive. Won't even try.
Been drinking all night. Feeling so high. Better not drive. Ain't gon' try. Been drinking all night. Feeling so high. Better not drive. Ain't gon' try. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. People die every day, I'm not going with ya. I'ma find my own way, I'm not going with ya. It's okay, I'll wait. Even good people make mistakes. I don't wanna realize when it's too late. Drinking and driving is never safe. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, ain't gon' try. Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, ain't gon' try.
And we are back, just like that.
Excited to get started. Right?
Yes, we are. We're inside our kitchen, and we're about to cook up a storm. Actually, it has already been cooked. We're about to talk to Etienne Martinez and Christina Reina, and they're the owners of Giordano's, homemade, authentic Italian cuisine made right here in Belize. Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Ah,
Hi, good morning.
there you go.
Thank you for the lovely introduction.
Ah, you're on the screen, and we're live. So sorry. I hope I'm not getting nervous. But guys, let's talk about this business venture, Giordano's. I noticed nobody here is named Giordano. So where did we get the name? I mean, this is cool.
Actually, and the name is for two reasons. The first one is because it's in memory of my grandfather. His name was Giordano. And also my second name is Giordano. I'm Etienne Giordano Martinez.
That's cool. Tell us about the business. These homemade Italian authentic cuisine.
Well, yeah, I mean, our business started last year during the whole pandemic. Well, during the thick of it. We were spending a lot of time home, obviously, working at home. And we said, what would be a better way spending time here together by doing what we like, which was cooking and eating, right? So the reason why we chose Italian food is because the family on my mom's side is Italian. So for us, pasta, all Italian food is part of our lives, right? So we said, let's share this authentic Italian experience with all of Belize. So that's why we decided, no, let's launch Giordano's.
Well, so you decided, and we got to be clear. So what you do is you do all the work, and then you sell pre-packaged food that people just either have to heat up or finish cooking at home. What product did you first launch? Was it the lasagna?
Actually, it was the cappellacci, which is pasta with a pumpkin puree with spices. And it's a traditional pasta from...
Yeah, it's traditional pasta from where my family comes from, which is from Ferrara, Italy. That's where we make the cappellacci. And the one you have there is the other product we launched, which is the cappelletti.
Yeah.
The cappelletti is filled with feta cheese and rosemary.
Oh. Look at that. So, I mean, you sit around, you're making this food for yourself at home, and you say, let's see if people are going to buy it. First of all, you know, we are very much accustomed to pre-packaged pasta, but you make your pasta dough from scratch, right?
Yes.
Yeah, correct.
What?
All our products are made from scratch, and we use all fresh ingredients, and that's why we prefer to keep them frozen.
And that makes a tremendous difference in how your pasta is gonna taste. So who's the cook? I don't think either one of you said who's the cook there.
Well, actually, I studied in cuisine, professional cuisine, for 2 years. So yes, I would be, like you say, like the chef there, but she also learned how to do it, so we both can do it now.
That's so nice. I could see the collab there. So what did you guys start it out with? I mean, like, I want to know what the conversation was like. We were at the height of the pandemic, and then you guys were at home eating, cooking, eating, and said, let's put this on the market. So what product did you actually start with?
Well, it was actually, you had a dream, no? She dreamt about it, of us doing pasta and selling it. So one day she woke up and told me about it. So I said, you know what? Let's try it. So we started doing pasta, and we said, okay, let's start with the cappellacci, which we had already mentioned. And that one was the first product along with the cappelletti. So we started giving samples to some friends, and they started liking it. They gave us their feedback, and that's how we started.
Cool.
So you have the pastas, and you also have the sauces. So it's not just, I mean, if people aren't going to make their own sauce, you can be able to get the sauce from you guys as well.
Yes, that's correct.
We try to work on the recipe during weeks until we get the final perfect recipe, and then we launch the product.
All right.
And you've been playing around with different products since then, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, we have to always adapt to what's available in the market, right? So that's why we have to get the right recipe. It has to be standardized.
So are these products in stores, or how can we get them?
Well, you can find us at Carnivore. We have some of our products there.
Okay.
And you can also order directly with us via Instagram, Facebook, or WhatsApp.
And so after you started with pasta, I want to know about the journey to lasagna and pizza rolls and ravioli and, first of all, lasagna is so much work to make at home. You guys have just made so many people happy to have it available and authentically made too. But tell us about how you started to introduce more items and which ones people have really gravitated towards.
Well, we are looking to make your life easier at home. So you don't have to worry about anything, just to have a prep meal ready just to bake and have it ready in 25 minutes. So we started looking for more products like lasagna and the pepperoni cheese rolls, which is so easy to do it and have it ready.
And actually that lasagna is very close to my heart. It comes from my family, that recipe. It's only done in the northern part of Italy. So that lasagna has bolognese sauce, bechamel sauce, and Parmesan cheese.
And in 25 minutes, you have all that homemade goodness coming out of your oven because it's already packaged and ready to cook.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's been the best seller?
I would have to say the lasagna, the pepperoni rolls, the ravioli.
Yeah.
And the sauces,
And the sauces. What type of ravioli do you make?
That is a spinach pasta, actually, and it's filled with ricotta cheese and Parmesan cheese.
Wow.
You can usually only get good ravioli at a restaurant. Imagine me show up with it at home.
I'll tell you what amazes me is just how Marlene is reacting to what we've got on here. This is definitely her excitement.
I don't know a person who doesn't like Italian food. Come on now. And it's homemade.
Oh my God, you guys are actually doing it. So approximately a year, would you say that you guys have been doing this for a year? And what has the response been like from the public?
Well, it hasn't really been a year, right?
We have like 6 months.
Really? Yeah. Like 6 months,
and it has been a blessing to our lives. It's like our baby.
What was the expectation from you guys, though? Did you expect to be at this point? Because you seem amazed.
Well,
to be honest, we are very grateful for everyone who has been supporting us, and we have been getting great feedback. So we're very happy with that. So that keeps us going every day.
And our family and friends have been amazing with us, with the feedback and the support every day.
So if somebody orders today and because they want something specific, when can they get it?
The same day. Actually, we keep everything at home. So we have a one-man service,
Okay.
and we deliver it.
So you guys are located in Belize City?
Yes, we are in Belize City.
So you can order it and get it tonight and cook it for your family.
Yes.
We'll pretend to cook it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And we won't tell anybody that it wasn't you.
Wow.
Now, what's the plan moving forward? I mean, is it still a line that you want to offer for people to enjoy at home? I know you're only 6 months in, but just, where's your mind at this moment?
Well, we would want to probably release other products, get more products in carnivore. And I think one of our ultimate dreams is to have our own restaurant.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. Man, you guys need to put something up quick.
So let's talk about the whole lineup. We have the lasagna, the ravioli. What else is available?
As previously mentioned, we have the cappellacci, which is filled with pumpkin and Parmesan cheese. We have the cappelletti, which is filled with feta cheese and Parmesan cheese. And also rosemary. We have the spinach ravioli. We have now 3 different sauces. The regular Italian tomato sauce. We have the amatriciana, which is a tomato sauce with smoked ham. And we also have the bolognese sauce, which you can find in the lasagna. It's made with ground meat.
Oh, cool.
Also, we do offer fresh pizza dough. So the idea behind that was that you can do your own pizza at home. You be the chef in that sense. So we give you the fresh dough, you roll it out how you want, use our sauce, and then you can put your favorite toppings.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Etienne, you're hooking me up, bro, because now you said you could make your own pizza at home.
Yeah.
So when I wow my household, I'll call you up and say, Etienne, thanks, my buddy.
And it's dough and sauce that you can get. Yeah.
So you can get everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, cool.
And have you ventured into desserts as yet? Is that coming soon?
Hint, hint.
We have thought about it, and it's in the works, actually.
All right. Sign me up.
All right.
All right. And as you said, one of the hot items is your pepperoni cheese roll.
Yeah. So essentially, it's a pizza in a roll.
Okay.
So
it's the perfect appetizer.
All right.
There we go, over here.
All right. There we go. Look at it. It's beautiful. All right. So, is it that time to taste yet? I mean,
so good. We do have something to say. There is a giveaway coming up.
Oh yes, there is a giveaway.
Before you start eating, John, and forget. So for people who are watching, and I'm so sorry you can't smell or taste this, but one viewer will definitely be able to enjoy the pepperoni and cheese rolls from Giordano's. And there is a question that we'll be asking based on our conversation here. So please stay tuned for that.
Yep, stay tuned for that. Now, is it time to eat?
Please enjoy.
All right.
So ready? All right.
I've been eyeing this ravioli. And you're going to go with the pizza roll?
I'm going to go with the pizza roll. And I'm going to hold it in my hand.
The pepperoni roll, you can dip it in the tomato sauce.
That's what the sauce is for.
I didn't even wait for that.
Look at that. That's the stuffing in the ravioli.
Oh my God. This is Italy. Literally in your mouth. Guys, this is so good.
Oh, glad you like
Glad
it.
you enjoyed it.
I know, right? Silence, which means that we're absolutely content.
That
He's
is
still
good.
not going away. Absolutely delicious. And I think for people who really love Italian food, when you have homemade pasta especially, it's just completely different. The flavor in it alone.
Yeah.
This is so great. anyone who wants to be able to purchase these items, all they have to do is go online, Facebook, Instagram, or they can check out, you said you do have some of the products available at Carnivore here in Belize City. Do you ship outside of the city as well?
Yes, we do ship, and we can ship to any of the keys down South Placencia, and we do sometimes deliveries to Belmopan as well.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, any final words from you guys? Because,
He wants to
these
get back
things are good.
Just saying,
Please
this
keep
is all
enjoying.
mine, right? Not sharing.
Oh my goodness, it's so good, guys. It's so good. This is actually a pizza in a ball indeed. It tastes so good, flavorful. Oh my goodness. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Final words are yours, guys. Where can we get you again? How can we get our orders in? Where can we see you on social media?
Well, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, or you can contact us through WhatsApp.
All right. Easy, easy, easy. And the place is, the name is Giordano's.
Giordano.
All right.
Well, thank you all for sharing your great cooking with us so that we can be able to enjoy it at home. And thank you for telling us all about your story as well. Best of luck. And
thank you. And thank you for having us.
And remember me when you start with desserts, right? Just so you know.
Etienne and Christina, thank you guys so very much. Do enjoy the rest of your day. We're about to take a break. When we come back, we will be wrapping things up.
And doing our giveaway.
Oh yes, we have a giveaway. We'll tell you who the winners are, or the winner is, when we come back.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety, and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Set in place by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Passengers traveling to the U.S. must present a negative COVID test or a documentation of having recovered from COVID-19 to travel to the U.S. In light of this, Maya, in partnership with Caring Hands Clinic, have established testing centers in all their municipal airports. Caring Hands Antigen Test Center is operational in San Pedro, Belize City, Dangriga, Placencia, and Hopkins. These testing facilities are staffed by licensed healthcare professionals, including doctors, registered nurses, and nurse practitioners. Testing is done using Abbott rapid test devices that are FDA approved and made in the USA. The service is safe, fast, affordable, and the close proximity of the centers makes them convenient. Walk-ins are welcomed, but appointments are encouraged. If you would like to make an appointment, please feel free to do so at Make your appointment, get tested, and in 15 minutes, you can get back to your vacation.
Es un hecho que puedes obtener servicios ilimitados con Smart. ¿Cansado de que se corte la línea cuando más necesitas estar conectado? Es un hecho que cuando te suscribes al plan de Smart Plus, obtienes llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Y también es un hecho que te puedes suscribir con un grupo de 5 miembros al plan Smart Share y hasta 40 miembros al plan Smart Enterprise para llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Smart tiene los verdaderos planes ilimitados. Es un hecho. Sé Smart y vive de forma Smart.
Back.
Just like that, we are back. But just before we conclude things, remember we were talking to Etienne and Christina? Well, they've got a giveaway, and this giveaway is one to reckon with. As a matter of fact, I ate long time. Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not eligible, so I'll just let you all know. All right, are you ready for some giveaways?
Here we go.
The winner, the person who's going to walk away with a tray of pepperoni and cheese rolls along with the sauce from Giordano's is the person who is able to answer a question.
Yep.
First on our Facebook live stream.
Yes.
Open your eyes, busy, right? So you got to get on Facebook and go specifically to our page, open the live stream, and then you have to be the first one to comment. Do not blame me if you don't win. We have somebody else monitoring it, right?
And the question is...
So are you ready? You got from your computer, you pulled up your Facebook app, open your eyes, BZ, get on there, get ready. You're going to win the most delicious...
So good. And I could attest to that. It is so, so good. And imagine, I haven't tasted it as yet with the sauce, but what I've tasted from these things, they're so good. I'm sure you're going to love it.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
So the question is?
The question is, how did they came up with the name Giordano's? Why the name Giordano's?
All right, so they gave us 2 reasons.
Yeah.
Once you give us one of them, that's enough.
Yes, just one. That's all we need. We need one. They give us 2, you need 1, and you walk away with this. This is so, so good. All right? But it was an excellent time with them, and they've got some excellent products there. They're easy to find. You could check them out on their social media pages. You could make your orders. They'll get to you, and that's where it all goes from there.
All right.
So...
we want to say thank you to everyone who joined us today.
Yeah, thank you
guys so much. We want to say thank you to the SIB
crowd,
who told us a bit about what they have been able to uncover as to the impact of COVID on the business establishments across the country. Really interesting information there.
Yes.
And then we also want to say thank you to Galen and Nigel Miguel from the Film Commission.
Yep.
And Vince Engel, who is the instructor for the World of Advertising.
Yep, so it was a nice time talking to them. That's a very great initiative, very good for our country as well. And also thanks to Etienne Martinez and Christina Reyna for delivering us the best tasting pasta and stuff that we've ever had.
And I would give you just a little tip, right? Don't go to their page hungry. You are going to just feel like you need pasta immediately. But I got to tell you, we got our winner of the giveaway for this morning is Cherise Ferguson.
Cherise, congratulations to you, Cherise Ferguson. You're the winner, and she's just won herself. Man, these are just, what do I call them again? Pepperoni cheese rolls. They're so good. I had 2 of them already.
Yeah.
Not from this bunch, sorry.
Yeah.
But we had some. But you also get yourself the sauce, and when you dip, oh my goodness.
All
That's
right.
Giordano's.
So you can pick that up here at Channel 5. Please bring an ID so that we know it's you, and you can enjoy the pepperoni cheese rolls from Giordano's as well.
Definitely.
But thank you all for tuning in today. We really appreciate it. To all our viewers at home who watch us on television, those of you who streamed us on our Facebook page or on our YouTube, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, If you want to get in touch with us, send us an email.
Yeah, send us an email to oye@channel5belize.com. You can check us out on Facebook at, there we go, Facebook, Open Your Eyes BZ, and also on Instagram at OYE Belize. Thank you for joining us this morning, and make sure that you do it again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right. Until then,
keep your eyes, your minds, and your
hearts open. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day.
Woo.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.